I wanted to become a doctor because everybody else used to. I had no interest in like physics, for instance. So I said I'll become a doctor. If you choose to be a doctor, you will not be able to earn till around 30.
We were very excited to complete the exams and checklist खत्म करने के लिए, and today's kids are in a rat race. Did you feel कभी कि यार exam दे देनी चाहिए थी, या you were happy with how it went?
While I was still doing my graduation,
Student, they look you down generally, you know. So any episode of that?
it was a rewarding experience for me that
Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Degree. Joining us on this episode is someone who initially in his school days wanted to become a doctor, but then eventually became a chartered accountant. During his inter CA examination, he chose to appear for an ITAT matter and skip his examination. After practicing for a few years as a chartered accountant, which he became at the age of 21 in the year 1988, he decided to pursue law, and now is the founding partner of the coveted law firm in the field of indirect taxation by the name of TLC Legal. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Vipin Jain. This episode is powered by JK Shah Classes. So, welcome to Beyond the Degree.
thank you.
So, let's get to the basics first. You wanted to become a doctor, a very different field to chartered accountancy. What was the story over there?
See, I was born and brought up in Delhi, so in those years, if you were a fairly good student, the choices were either you become a doctor or you become an engineer. And the third option maybe was the UPSC exams.
True.
Very unlike Bombay, where UPSC is
Not very well
not
known
very
here.
popular. So I wanted to become a doctor because everybody else used to. I had no interest in like physics, for instance. So I said I'll become a doctor. So that was my initial thinking and my initial desire. And then after my 10th exams, while I was waiting for results, I went to spend some time with my cousin brother in Calcutta. He was a doctor. He's still a doctor there. And I think he persuaded me. He said that, look, if you choose to be a doctor, you will not be able to earn till around 30 years of age, and you will be a dependent on your father. My father was in the services, and I calculated that by the time he retires, I would still be a dependent.
Okay.
So then he said, look, CA is the better option. By 2021, you can start earning. So I think it was just a decision I took more as a practical measure rather than any other great thought.
I think basically the idea of investing or the sunk cost till 30 was the factor to become a CA at that point in time.
Oh yeah, from a costing perspective, I
Yes.
think it's
Yes.
it's a good
So you became a
good way to
CA
look at it.
at the age
Yeah.
of 21, the year 1988. What was it like to pursue articleship and CA at that point in time? That's almost 35 years back that we go. Not everything is so digital as it is today.
Yeah, times have changed. In my times, in between 85 and 88, when I did my articleship, it was a traditional. All CAs used to have a traditional mold of either being auditors or being income tax professionals. So you had to be either of these two. I don't think there was a third option in those years.
Correct.
So I, thanks to my uh, mentor and my senior partner in the firm, Mr. I.C. Jain, I was given the task of handling income tax litigations at a very early stage. Within 4 months of my joining the firm as an article, he put me under another partner who was doing tax litigations mainly in the ITAT, Income Tax Tribunal. And so I started assisting him, and so it became, and that role involved a lot of, hard work and working till late in the night and things like this, and all last minute work. So I did that for almost 3 years till I became a CA, and used to be pretty absorbed in doing that work. Used to work about 12, 13, 14 hours a day in those years. So, yeah, so that's how the 3 years passed doing all this income tax appellate work mainly.
at that point of time.
Yeah, yeah.
So during those 3 years, I mean, I'm sure as CAs, it's grueling, right? Between your classes, your office, studying and preparing for the examination. Did it get really difficult at times? Like, this course is not meant for me.
No, I never felt like that. I never felt. I did, like, for instance, you have to take 2 or 3 months off
Correct.
for
For the
your intermediate
preparation,
exams or your final
final exams.
exams.
Correct.
So so as you mentioned, uh, I used to be so absorbed in my work that once, without realizing, I realized that the exams are only 3 months away, and I had so much of work. There were so many matters to be, prepared, appeals to be filed, appeals to be argued, and dates after dates. So I could see that for the next 1 or 2 months, my calendar was so full. I said, "What is going to happen if I go on leave?" And so I decided to skip that particular attempt, and I said, "Okay, it doesn't matter. I'll do it after 6 months. It doesn't matter." So then next time I planned it.
That you will not take up
Yeah,
matters in
yeah.
those
So
three
I
months.
used to request I used to request my senior, and then I was appearing myself. I would request the bench that don't kindly
Don't
give it.
appear.
Yeah, kindly
Don't.
give a longer date or something. For those.
Very
So give
exam
me
se.
about 2 months. So I took 2 months off
Okay.
for the next exam, and the next exams came in the intermediates.
And you clear those at that point in time.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So that's a very different take from today's students. Like I know जब मैं भी पढ़ाई कर रहा था तो we used to be excited कि exam prepone कर पा रहे हो. We were very excited to complete the exams and checklist खत्म करने के लिए. And today's kids are in a rat race. The earlier I can become a chartered accountant and all of that. But you chose to postpone it. It's a very rare thing. Uh, do you at any time did you feel कभी कि यार exam दे देनी चाहिए थी या you were happy with how it went?
See, I had the advantage of the age being on my side, because I started doing my CA while I was still doing my graduation.
Okay.
So I had the age on my side. So I realized that it doesn't matter, because if I had actually continued appearing, if I'd appeared that first exam,
First
I would
attempt.
have been a CA before I turned 21. I would not have got my COP. So I said I have the luxury of skipping 1 or 2 attempts.
Okay.
So, but I will not say that there was no rat race even in those days. Even in those days, we wanted to finish off with a professional course as fast as possible.
Possible.
So, which is why I decided to do it along with my
Your
graduation.
graduation.
So I had the option of first finishing off my graduation for 3 years and then enrolling
Skipping
as
the
an
foundation. Yeah.
article. But even
It
I
worked
would
out
say, I think,
finally. Yeah, it worked
yeah,
out.
most of us were in a hurry to finish off
Do it. So for
studies, and
everyone, it
then
works differently. It's your choice. At the end, the tag of C is important. Maybe a few months front or back, it doesn't matter
yeah,
because you still
that's
get a head start
yeah,
eventually in
yeah,
that
yeah. In
journey.
fact, as life has gone by, you
Uh,
realize that the
That
six
six
months,
months
one
didn't
year
matter
doesn't
today.
matter.
Today doesn't matter.
People take it very seriously even today. I missed my exam, and I
Correct.
have children who feel like that
Yeah.
sometimes. Oh, I missed this exam or I missed that exam. I always tell them that, look, all this doesn't matter. 6 months here and there, 1 year doesn't make a difference.
Alright. So उस टाइम पे तो results online तो नहीं आते थे.
Hmm.
आजकल we keep refreshing it to get our results and all that. How did you come to know your results and what was your initial reaction?
I think we used to go to the institute at
Institute
Tough
जाते
Parade
थे. Correct.
and then look up the list or something.
Okay.
This is my recollection.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you party and all at that point in time, or was
I
it
must
just another
have. I
day?
don't remember, but I was obviously very happy.
Okay,
So, everybody's happy to clear the exams.
correct. What was your first stipend like?
Oh, the stipend must have been what, about 500 rupees a month?
Oh, okay. People today complain about the stipend they get, but do you think stipend is an important factor at times for students today?
It can be. It depends upon your like if your parents are not able to support you and you do not come from a well-off background, and yes, it certainly
It,
is an
it
important thing. It's an important factor. You are living. You would like to meet your cost of living, travel cost at least, and some.
so you start earning a little early and meet your own expenditures at least. That
Yeah,
is
at least you can
at
meet your
least your
expenditure. I think
just
stipend does matter. It's important for the children who are studying.
okay. Any good friends you made during your articleship days or your classes or college days, who were
Many,
doing
many,
CA with
many,
you and who
many.
are still in touch with you today after almost 30,
S-
40
A
years?
lot of them. I think I mean, at least 50 of them are still in touch with me.
Wow, that's a long friendship cycle. You did your classes with JK Shah classes at that point in
Yes,
time also. How did
yes.
you get in touch? It was just fairly new as a coaching academy at that point in time. So I
Yes,
just
it
started off.
was.
So,
Yeah, it was quite new at that time, and uh, I think one of my seniors who had attended the classes, he was very impressed with Dr. J.K. Shah himself, and he said that look, he will teach you costing as if it's like science, like mathematics, so that he'll make it very interesting. So I joined the classes, and it was evening. It was not the morning one, the evening batch, and of all the teachers, of all the all the classes that I attended, whether it was accounts or um, uh, financial accounting, there was one more subject, and then costing. I think it is Dr. J.K. Shah's classes which I still cherish. I still remember,
okay,
and his style of teaching was different. He would pose a problem, write a problem down, and say, "All right, how will you approach it?"
okay,
And then he would ask one and ask the other person, ask the third student, and then he will basically tell you where conceptually you're going wrong, and then he'll say, okay, this is the correct answer, and that's how it and what was wrong with the earlier answer. So he would take pains to tell each one of the student where he was going wrong. So, and it was quite different from the uh, the other coaching classes that I attended, where a question would be put on the board and then an answer would be written, and nobody would explain generally that look, each one of you had thought differently, but
definitely.
why one's thought process was right and why the others was wrong.
So,
So
well,
that is
logic
why,
explanation is
yeah, yeah,
important.
yeah, yeah. He used to take that pain. He used to always, it must have been a strain for him also to try and answer, uh, tell 10
10
kids,
kids, 10
for
examples.
each question that,
Yeah.
your answer was wrong on that, as in that respect, and it was wrong here for that reason. So
Correct.
it must have been a strain for him, but I think he used to enjoy the subject himself. So
Mm.
I think it came quite effortlessly to him,
Naturally,
yeah,
in
quite
terms of that.
naturally for him. And then I felt that he was enjoying the classes as much as we were enjoying
As we
it.
were doing it. And it was a different approach. So, it was more exciting for you to understand कि
Yeah.
ये ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है. Sometimes
Yes.
we just solve it because it's a question on the
Huh.
paper versus understanding the story
The
behind it.
logic behind it, and he
Correct.
would explain that.
Any example you want to share about that he had shared with?
No, see, I don't remember the example, but I can tell you how. Like, he used to always, one topic that he taught very effectively was the topic of fixed costs and sunk costs. And as you mentioned, sunk cost. So that concept is deeply ingrained in my brain.
Okay.
And you don't one doesn't realize, but one keeps on applying these concepts on a daily basis in your life.
Correct.
To take an example, a few years ago, we had planned a holiday, so made the bookings, hotel bookings, air bookings, so family was to go. And then I discovered that that place was not the right place to go. It was too hot at that time, and people said, "Oh, why did you choose that
That's it.
destination? Because it's too hot and you won't enjoy it." So I discussed with the family. They said, "Oh, now we have already spent money, in the air tickets, and you cancel it now. Much of it will go away as waste. And then there is a hotel booking. Some of them are non-refundable. So it's going to be, we have already spent money.
Correct. Yeah.
So might as well go there."
खर्च कर दिए तो वसूल कर लेते
I told them, I said, "Look, my teacher told me that what I've already spent is sunk cost. Now I'm going to make it worse by wasting 7 more days going to a wrong place."
and
So,
cribbing every day वहाँ पे जाके
yeah,
रोज आयल मैंने कहा हम यहाँ
yeah.
पे
So
क्यों
I
आए
said, so I'm going to cut my loss here. So
And
what is gone is gone. Now let's think of a better place where we can go and enjoy. So we chose a different destination. We went there and we enjoyed
we
it.
enjoyed it. So
So these are things which you then start applying in your life.
in your personal life
So the concept of a sunk cost.
is
My children still laugh at me. Papa, sunk cost principle. I said, yes, I follow it.
it's a family joke now. It's in the family
Yes,
right
yes,
now.
yes.
Interesting. I think sometimes a lot of our learning in classrooms, when we apply it in the practical life, we realize that it's not all waste. I know in school we had all this trigonometry and all which I'm not sure where we applied it today. But some of these practical topics have been very useful to us in our journey so far, especially when you run a business of your own over here. But before we come to that, I mean, during articleship, you were representing at the ITAT and all of that litigation matters. Did you get time to spend on other aspects of normal tax and audit, or was it purely litigation that you were into?
The only litigation, because advisory work was hardly there in income tax. It must have been there, but it didn't come my way.
Okay.
And the audit somehow, because I was put in this role, so there was no audit that I did except for the first 3 months of my articleship. So it was only appearing before the Commissioner Appeals or the tribunal.
So, do you remember any of the first early days when you represented before a CITA or ITAT, and they were wondering, like, as an article student, they look you down generally. So, any episode of that?
Not really. In fact, I must confess that it was a rewarding experience for me that uh, I appeared before my father-in-law, my future father-in-law,
Oh,
when he was the Commissioner Appeals in Mittal Court. And
was it a
I,
planned father?
no, as a lawyer or as a CA, as a professional, nobody expected you to get a result done.
So, was that the prompt to pursue law at that point in time?
Yes, yes. Then I realized that, and if 3 years I had done only legal work and I had not done any audit work.
आजकल भी काफी बच्चों को CA के बाद they believe that they need one more degree. Do you believe in that school of thought?
It depends upon what you want to do.